confidence I have, feeling good about myself I have, worthiness not so much, because you just get let down so much in your life that's what you feel like you're worth.
So anytime you notice any kind of conversation in your mind or any story, anything that you're repeating out of your mouth that is not in alignment with I am worthy, I am a bright shining light exactly the way that I am, I get to be authentic, and that is what's going to attract the mate that's in alignment with me.
Hello, my name is Andrea, and this is Our Daydream podcast. Welcome. Today we have an awesome guest. Her name is Kerry Auret. She is an alignment expert and a love coach. Her focus is helping people align their energy to create the things that she wants. I'm super excited about this podcast. Today we're going to be talking about love. If you like this video, please hit subscribe because we have an awesome guest coming every week, and I don't want you to miss it. Hello.
Hi, Andrea.
There you are.
You look great. I like your hair and your style.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to have you. I was, you had said about what you were into, and I was like, yes. Like, awesome. I come up with like all this stuff that I was like wanted to talk to you about, but I'm like, don't go too crazy with this. But your focus is on aligning your energy to create what you want. Can you tell me about it? Like, what brought you to that?
My journey with alignment has been a really interesting one. And I've been working as a coach, facilitating people, supporting people for about 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I actually worked as a nurse for 15 years. So along my nursing journey, I started to realize there was a lot of barriers and things that were kind of getting in the way of me really helping people as a nurse, which I wasn't really expecting going into that profession. So I started just getting really curious about other ways that you can help people. I looked into like becoming a psychologist, a therapist, and then I discovered coaching, and it lit me up and it made so much sense. And I got really excited. I hired myself a life coach, and I had a lot of transformation with that. And so that kind of started me on the journey of coaching. And then it was actually on New Year's Eve, 2019, going into 2020, not having any idea what was in store for us in 2020, that I decided to choose a focus of the year. So I like to choose a word of the year just to anchor in all of my intentions with one word that I can kind of keep in mind throughout the year. Yeah. So I chose the word alignment, because I had heard so many different teachers, so many different coaches, so many different leaders talking about how important it is to be in alignment, but I didn't really understand on a practical level how to do that. So I love energy and even magic and law of attraction, but I'm also a very practical person, and I like to have like practical steps on how to do something. So I kind of set that intention by choosing that word of the year, alignment, without really knowing what was going to get created. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and I found myself at home and with not a lot of distractions, and started to realize that I really wanted to let go of this nursing career, because I've been doing both for a long time, and I really wanted to focus my attention on coaching. So that was kind of that first step, that realization. And then from there, I started to like have that space and that time to start coaching more people, coaching myself. And the alignment started to fall into place for me. The way that I could practically understand it with my mind was to realize that, what do you want to align? Well, you want to align your energy. Well, that's very nice to think about. Like, yeah, you want to line up your energy with what it is that you want. Like, that makes sense. But how do you do that? Like, it was so mystical to me. And so I realized that what your energy is made up of is your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And at that point, I'd been doing a lot of coaching on mindset and your beliefs, right? And your beliefs create your reality. So I'm like, oh, it all starts with your beliefs.
Right.
Because when you believe something, that affects the way that you feel. And the way that you feel drives your actions. And it's your actions that create your results.
Right.
So you need all three of those to be in alignment. Your beliefs, which now I've gone a step further years later, it has to be your conscious beliefs and your subconscious beliefs in alignment with each other. And then that's going to drive how you feel, your emotions. That's going to drive your actions to create your results. So when I kind of got that, I was like, oh, okay, I can see how I can actually do this. So I started putting that into practice consistently, and really using this alignment to help my clients. And people started to create the results that they wanted so much faster, so much easier, because their thoughts and their emotions were on board with taking the actions that were necessary.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's where the alignment piece comes from. And alignment is something that I've been talking about, teaching on, coaching on now for about 2.5 years. And there's been a lot of kind of growth and development even within that realm.
Right. Do you feel like it's a lot like you actually have to identify with your conscious and subconscious, but you actually have to, you know, subconsciously or consciously train the other to kind of like, hey, come on board, but you actually have to look at it in order to do that.
Exactly. So from working with alignment for a while, it took about a year, but I developed a formula so that there could be steps that you could follow to make it so that anybody could easily follow the steps and create the results that they wanted. So you hit the nail on the head when you said you got to be aware of what's going on. That's step one, is becoming aware of what are the conscious thoughts that I've been thinking. And the conscious mind is the first thing that we change. The way that we're talking about something, the way that we're thinking about something. And journaling is a really great tool for this. Taking time to write down those thoughts that are just rolling around in your head, you can start to see, oh, whoa, I can see why I've created the results that I currently have by looking at these beliefs, these thoughts that have been going on. And so when you can see that, so often we are repeating thoughts that aren't even true for us, that we don't even believe, that are actually sabotaging us and holding us back. So once we can get the conscious mind on board with focusing on beliefs that really are in service to us, then we've made a very big step forward. The next step is getting the subconscious in alignment, matching up with the conscious, because our subconscious mind is actually responsible for 95% of our behaviors, of our actions, right? Because our subconscious mind is put in charge of our automatic ways of doing things. Yeah. So when the subconscious is not on board with the conscious, so you could have the conscious belief that, you know, I'm going to drink 90 ounces of water today. Like I know that that's something I can do for my health, and I'm going to drink 90 ounces of water. And then it's like the end of the day and you've only drank a small cup of water and you didn't do it. You know,
story of my life.
I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna go to the gym before going to work. Yeah. And now it's Friday and you only did it like on Monday. And it's like, but I know with my mind that that's what I want. I know that that's the result. I'm motivated. Yeah. But your subconscious mind is keeping you safe, keeping you comfortable, keeping you small. Because that's the role of the subconscious mind, is just to keep you safe. Yeah. So I actually work with a process called Psych K, and it's a process where you reprogram the subconscious mind. So that's what I do with my one-on-one clients.
That's awesome. I never heard of that.
Yeah. Look into it. It's amazing. So you work with the conscious mind first, and then we go to see, okay, let's see, is the subconscious mind in alignment? And most of the time it's not. So once we get the subconscious mind in alignment, it kind of is like this fog disappears, and like you can see clearly, and then you're feeling good about things, and then you can go ahead and consistently take those actions, right? It doesn't mean that it's always 100% easy to wake up early and go to the gym, right? But you've got that like clear belief now. So that's, then the next step is just to work through the resistance and the discomfort of creating a new habit. But now you've created that potential in your mind so that it's possible.
It's so crazy this year that it was like I was kind of pushed into kind of blossoming out with OurDayDream. And so I've really been working on this meditation in the morning to visualize where it is that you want to be. And it's a really awesome meditation that takes you into like taking your old you into that position. And so it's kind of frustrating though, because before I knew I wanted to be somewhere else, but now I'm feeling like I really, really want to be somewhere else, but here's where I'm at right now. So there's that like frustration that you kind of deal with, and I really want this, you know what I mean? But this is where I'm at.
Yeah. So you want to look at that, because if that visualization isn't having you really like feeling good, right? It's actually having you comparing, it's having you noticing how much you don't have the thing
It's
that you want.
Yeah, it's such a big leap. Yeah.
So what that's doing, that's like wanting something is the same energy of not having the thing.
Yeah.
So instead, you want to get to the place where you're trusting and you're in surrender and you know that it's coming, right?
Yeah.
And to be in the energy of already having it. So a trick that you can try is looking at where in your life do you already feel the way that you think
that's good.
Having that thing is going to make you feel. So I'm just stepping into doing love coaching and supporting people and having fun dating again and like meeting people. And so maybe, you know, if you're sitting there visualizing being with your man that you're creating, or that woman of your dreams that you're creating, it can just leave you feeling like lonely and sad and like all the pain of not having it. But if you think about like, well, why do I want that partner? I want that partner because then I'm going to feel security. I want that partner because then I'm going to have a lot of love. Maybe it's like affection. So looking at like, okay, well, where do I already have love and security and affection in my life? Okay, like maybe you have a dog, maybe you have a best friend, maybe you're close with your family, maybe you have a kid, right? So looking at like, okay, I already have those things that I think being with that partner is going to give me. So by focusing on that, that's going to make you feel good because you already have that.
Right.
And then you're in the energy of having that. So when you're going out for, this is like just an easy example, when you're going out on a date, you're not going on a date focused on not all the lack, all the scarcity. You're going out on the date like, I'm filled up. I have love in my life. I have connection in my life. I have security in my life. You know, who are you? Let's have fun, right? It's a totally different energy that you're showing up, instead of showing up like, I hope this is the one because I just don't want to date anymore and I just want to be in a relationship. And like, are you the one? Like, see?
Yeah.
Can you see how that can apply to you in the thing that you're visualizing?
Yeah, that's super awesome. I think that is a thing that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that they just settle for whatever just comes their way. And that's the same in relationships too. It's like me and my youngest son's dad, we had nothing, absolutely nothing in common. And, you know, it's not that I was really in a good place internally whenever I found him either. And really like looking at like, what do I want besides just I want loved?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Looking
guess,
at like one of
go
the
ahead.
things I work with my clients with the dating thing is like, how do you want to feel when you're in the relationship? So tuning into that. So how do you want to feel in a relationship?
Free.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
had a relationship where it was okay to be who I was and that I could just compliment them just being myself.
Yeah. So you want that feeling of that you get to be yourself. You want to be authentic and
Yeah.
celebrated for who you are, right? And not have to dim your light because you're a bright light. We can see that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So that's how you want to feel, right? When you're in a relationship. So that's also how you want to feel when you're going out on dates, right?
Yeah.
You want to feel the same way that when you're going on dates as you do in the relationship. So what kind of thoughts, what kind of beliefs do you have to have in order to feel like you could just be your authentic self? Do you have any ideas?
Worthiness, to know that I'm good enough, I'm enough. Thoughts like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that you're enough, but that you are a bright, shining light and that you are a contribution exactly the way that you are, right?
Yeah.
So this is the work that I do with my clients. We look at that and we say, okay, so does your conscious mind believe those thoughts? This is going pretty
I
deep.
mean,
They're playing with
I
me.
do fight with the worthiness.
It's a very big one for most people.
Yeah, I fight with that. I go back and forth between it. Confidence I have, feeling good about myself I have, worthiness not so much, because you just get let down so much in your life that's what you feel like you're worth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was having this realization yesterday. I had a date with my partner. We're getting married in 3.5 weeks. And I was having this realization. I was like, he is so much better than any of the guys that I felt rejected by any of the
Yeah.
guys that ghosted me, or any of the guys that didn't want to date me or didn't want to commit to me or didn't want to marry me, even though we'd been dating for years. He's so much better than all of those people. He's better looking, he's more outgoing, he's like, he's more handsome, like our connection is better. Like he's just so much like on this different level. So it really was never that I wasn't good enough, right? For me, for a long time, I was like, oh, I'll be able to like meet the man of my dreams when I've lost enough weight. I had body image stuff. So I was always trying to go on a diet because I thought that would be the answer to finding love. I actually met my partner when I was about 30 pounds heavier than I am now, and have, recently like found a diet that is in alignment for me, and have coached myself into eating this whole new way and released about 30 pounds. And so, and like he loved me at that and met me at that higher weight, right? So I kind of had all these realizations yesterday. I was like, back then I always thought it was because I wasn't good enough, but it's just that it wasn't in alignment, right?
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of things that we can think about with our conscious mind to get the conscious mind on board. And then the psyche, the process that I do is like the shortcut to having the subconscious mind on board. Another thing to have, if you don't have psyche available to you, is to repeat it. That will change the subconscious mind. So anytime you notice any kind of conversation in your mind or any story, anything that you're repeating out of your mouth that is not in alignment with I am worthy, I am a bright shining light exactly the way that I am, I get to be authentic, and that is what's going to attract the mate that's in alignment with me. If you're noticing any of that, to just be able to recognize it, bring awareness,
and snap
and
it.
choose that belief that is in alignment with you feeling that feeling of like authenticity, ease, peace, love, right?
Yeah.
And then having mantras that are authentic and just repeating them like day and night. That's why I love the Psych K, because it's a lot faster, right?
Yeah.
Because repeating can take a long time, but it is possible. And I've seen a lot of people do very amazing things with that. But once the subconscious and the conscious mind are on board, then the next step is to take aligned action, which might be to go to that barbecue that your friend invited you to, because maybe you're going to meet somebody, or go onto a dating app, or get a matchmaker, or ask your friends to set you up on a blind date, right? So then it's about taking action and then showing up in that energy of how you want to feel in the relationship on the date. Because then you're going to match up with the person that enjoys that energy. Because the date is not just about like, you know, having the connection and going on the next date. The date is about going and having fun in that experience and seeing if it's in alignment. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 days to realize that. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 months. But if you can choose to have fun throughout the whole thing without an attachment to the results, then you're not losing in any way. Maybe it doesn't turn out to be your next husband or wife, but it turns out to be a cool experience where, where you got to enjoy yourself and learn something about yourself and learn something about another person and go have some cool experiences.
Yeah. I want to tell you congratulations.
Thank you.
On your upcoming wedding. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I actually just tried on my wedding dress right before this. It just arrived. So
I love it.
Just got here just in time. So it's going to need some alterations. So I'm glad that it's here. Yeah. But yeah, I was essentially single. I dated a lot, but was not in a committed relationship for 9 years.
That's a long time. Yeah.
So for most of my 30s, and I just turned 40. So I'm getting married at 40 to a super dreamy, wonderful man who was just like ready to commit to me like from day one. And that brought up a whole lot of triggers and past traumas and not trusting him, because he was just so sure, and I was like, he's just trying to sleep with me, he's tricking me, he's a narcissist. All this stuff came up, and it really took me surrendering and communicating very clearly throughout. Like, I couldn't believe that he was as good and as committed and as wonderful as what he was showing up as, because I had had a lot of men in the past kind of manipulate me and tell me all the things I wanted to hear until they got what they wanted, and then they would leave. So
and that's what patience grants you too. You know, it's like, if you just have the patience and wait for that real thing, you know, instead of just saying, I'll accept this person because they're good looking and they want to go out on a date and they want to date me, and, you know, really getting in alignment. Can I tell you a story that happened to me?
Sure.
So I just spoke about this on a podcast I was invited to too, but I want to say it again. I just think it's so cool. So I don't know what it was that day. I definitely was like in a pretty good mood from the time that I woke up, but it was like halfway through the day, and this thought come to my mind: you need to go to this park, and it's like an hour away from my house. And I'm like, well, I don't have enough time to be there. I'm only going to have like a half an hour, 45 minutes till my son gets off the bus. I'm going to have to drive back and pick him up. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to go, because it's so far of a drive. And it would have been 2 hours altogether to drive there and drive back for a half an hour there. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And it wouldn't leave my mind. Like, it just wouldn't stop. And so I'm like, all right, then. I'm like,
surrender.
I'm going. So I was like thinking in the car on the way to the park, I'm like, I receive whatever it is you're trying to give me right now. I receive it. I receive it. And so I get there and I'm at the restaurant right on the corner by the water. It's like an outside restaurant. And there's this guy walking past. Perfect man. Like I've never seen a man that good looking before in all of my life, on TV, in person, anywhere. And he looks over at me. And my first thought is, no, he's not. So then he walks around and he gets in line and he's still staring at me. And I'm thinking to myself, no, he's not. He is not. And so then I got my earbuds in both my ears and I'm writing. And he sits down, like there's this table right next to you. It's a separate table, but you're pretty much seated side by side. And he sits down there. I don't even notice it. And I hear a mumble in my ear. So I take my earbud out. And he's like, that bird's talking to you. He sat right next to me. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So then one of my belief systems was that most people from my area are surface dwellers, I call them. So they look at everything face forward rather than, the philosophy or, the deeper ways of seeing things. And so we're having this awesome, phenomenal conversation. I'm like, I don't, I never expected anybody to like even be talking this sort of way with me around here. And so I wasn't expecting that. And so at the end, he's like, well, we're going to go for a walk sometime. And he was getting ready to walk away to go to the garbage. And I said, no, we're not. And he comes back. He's like, yes, we are. He's like, we're going to go for a walk sometime. I said, well, we're going to have to exchange numbers because I don't live around here. Like the odds of us running back into one another is very slim. And so he took my number. And I got into the car and I'm like, that did not just happen. That did not. And I rejected it to where I guaranteed the number either got drowned because he had swimming trunks on, or got ruined, or got lost, or something bad happened to that number because of my alignment wasn't worthy for that. So it's like my energy completely rejected it and pushed it away from me and didn't even give me a chance. And it was something that I wanted. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just incredible to like
how
look
long
at.
ago was that?
That was a little bit over a year ago. I went there a couple times after that. Like, okay, I got my energies right. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I would invite you to do is just to acknowledge that you attracted that in the first place.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on the fact that like it didn't go anywhere, just the fact that that there is a person out there that's, there's people out there, like think about it in whatever way makes you feel good. Don't think about it in a way that makes you feel not good. Right? Because the more you can be feeling good, the more you're going to draw good into your life. So when you think about that story, and even when you repeat that story, focus on the part of how cool it is that you got to have that conversation, and that the universe was like, look, there's people that you can actually connect with on a deeper level that are also good looking, that are going to come to you. That's the part that's cool, right?
It was so incredible.
Yeah, I wonder what's possible now.
I don't know. If I start looking at it like you said, I just know, like, for the past year, I'm like, if that was to happen again, I'm definitely going to look at it a little bit differently than I did the last time. I'm not going to try to reject it with my mind. And, I'm sure I'm going to for a moment, but then I'm going to be like, no, no, you were worthy of that. And so I definitely learned a lot from that. I learned what I was worth and what was out there for sure. But I also learned what I was doing to push something like that away from me.
Yeah. So, maybe you needed to learn that lesson.
Oh, definitely.
So that when the next person comes in, it's going to be a different situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I wonder too, is that the way it happens? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you just wait for that to happen?
That's a really good question. What do you think the answer is?
That's what I've been hanging on to. Truly. I'm just like, I just think that if I'm feeling good, and I'm so like strict with it, that if I was like having a bad day and I was really cranky, I'm like, that's probably not an energy that I should be attracting to me in this moment that's going to be beneficial whenever I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? So like I'm constantly like checking this out, like, where's this happening? You know what I mean? How am I feeling whenever this is happening? And things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Oftentimes I just felt like shut off to it. And even in that moment, I was shut off to it. But I feel like the whole self-talk, the whole, being submissive to the process, kind of pulled me into that situation. But I definitely feel like I've been closed off to that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something I really do want to make sure that I point out, because there's this, it's actually even has a name. It's called toxic positivity. When we're so like, I gotta be positive all the time and I can't ever have a negative thought, otherwise something really bad's gonna happen. And if I think something bad's gonna happen, and something bad's gonna happen, and like,
I love it.
Like there is no amount of mindset work or belief work that's going to have you in a place where you never have a doubtful thought, a fearful thought, because we are wired for survival.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's what a lot of the doubts and the fear is. It's the survival, right? So when we can actually accept those doubts and accept the fear and accept the resistance, and just be an allowance and know that that's just a normal part of life.
I love that.
And that's just that everybody has that sometimes, because you know what? There are people out there that have met their soulmate when they were in a bad mood.
Yeah.
There's people out there that have won the lottery when they were being mean to someone else. Like, it's not like, it's not a black or white situation. Right. And it's also not about what you're saying or even what you're doing. It's about the energy that you're being. And your being is a lot more dynamic and a lot more nuanced than just the reaction that you're having in the moment. Your being is how you move through the world. Your being is how you treat other people. Your being is how you treat yourself. Your beingness is your point of attraction, not just the words that you're saying, not just the actions that you're taking, not just the mood that you're in today, right? So being gentle with ourselves when we're in a bad mood, especially, we all go through cycles, especially women. We really feel our cycles, and there's going to be times where it's just going to be easier to feel low energy and easy, and there's going to be other times where it's going to be easier to feel more loving, and all of that is okay. It's all just part of being a human. But as long as your essence, your core, your soul is still in alignment with, basically being a good human, is just the easiest way to say it, then that's your point of attraction. One of the things about the doubts and the fears and the resistance, I had a client like a week ago, and it's really resonated. I've shared it a lot since then. I was like, okay, so there's resistance, but you've got to move. Like you can't just let every time you feel resistance make you stop, because then you're never going to have consistency. You're never going to have momentum. You're never going to create the results that you want. Because she's like, there's resistance. She's like, I know, I just need to push through the resistance. And I'm like, what about instead of like giving into the resistance and giving up, or pushing through the resistance, What if you could just put your arm around the resistance
Oh,
and be like,
yeah.
I see you, I hear you. I get that you're trying to keep me safe, but we're going to keep moving forward. You don't have to go anywhere. You can be here, but you're going to move forward with me.
I love
So
that.
you can still move forward, even if you have resistance, even if you have fear. And if you wait until there's no fear or there's no resistance to go out on a date or to apply to a new job or to start a new health routine, it's never going to happen, because resistance is a normal part of life as a human being on planet Earth, because we're wired for survival. But just acknowledging it for what it is and moving forward anyway. And then after a while, you'll see like, okay, this isn't that scary. Okay, I didn't die going on this date. I didn't die getting up and going to the gym. And then it'll become a new habit and it won't be scary anymore.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is so common in the field of law of attraction and mindset and stuff, is to almost like be so hard on ourselves and then start judging ourselves for not judging ourselves if we have one negative thought. And
I was like that really bad. We're like, whenever I first started working on my mind, because I was just a human that was, you know, hopelessly depressed, manic depressed. Like I tried everything for like 34 years until somebody woke me up to the realization that I was doing that to myself. And so then, you know, as time progressed, it takes you into the teachings, like those posts, you know, on Facebook, like just be positive, just be happy, think happy thoughts and things like that.
Good vibes only.
Yeah. And it got to the point where I was like, wow, like yelling at myself all the time. And then I realized like I need to understand instead, like if I procrastinate, like if my house is a mess because I hadn't cleaned it up, if I'm beating myself up over that, well, I'm not going to really want to clean up either because I feel like crap. I'm depressed. You know what I mean? And so
perpetuates the cycle.
Yeah. So then I put it together. It was just randomly. I was looking at a load of clothes and I just put it together. I'm like, oh my gosh, like for the past year, I've been just beating the crap out of myself. Yeah. I love that.
I am, yeah. Anybody listening to this, and you and me, because we all need to remind it. Number one, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace. Talk to yourself like how you would your own child or your best friend. Right? Like if you think about like a little kid that's learning how to walk, they fall down. You're not like, get up. What's wrong with you? You fell down? You don't even know how to walk yet? What's going on? Get up. No, we don't do that.
We're like,
you're doing great, honey. Oh my gosh, you walked 2 steps. Let me help you.
That's such a good analogy. I love it.
You gotta treat yourself like that. We're all just learning whatever it is that we're like. Whenever we want to up level, whenever we want to step into a new relationship, step into a new career, start a business, start a health program, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a moving out of the comfort zone. And there's going to be fear, there's going to be resistance, there's going to be challenges. When you can give yourself grace through all of that, but continue to move forward anyway, is when you're going to, without a doubt, get to where you want to be.
I love that.
That's what I help my clients with.
So how do they find you? How do we find you for coaching?
Yeah, the easiest way is my website, and my website is my name. It's kerryauret.com. It's spelled KerryAuret.com. At the bottom, if you scroll to the bottom, there's my Facebook. I'm pretty active on there, my Instagram, and I have TikTok, and I have a few YouTube videos delving into my alignment formula and how to start putting these things into practice. So my website is a great way. And if you want to learn more about the alignment formula, I have a totally free masterclass that goes into detail and actually steps you through creating a specific result. There's a handout that comes with it, so you get to work along, and as long as you apply that, you will create the result that you desire. So there's been some magical results that have come from that. So if you sign up for my newsletter, the newsletter goes out 1 to 3 times a week. You'll also get invitations to my free workshops. I have one coming up on Wednesday that's all about aligning in money and abundance. And that's also, it's on my Facebook page. I share about it a lot. And signing up for my newsletter, it'll come straight into your inbox.
I love that. Yeah, this is just like an eye-opening chat session. I knew it was going to be. I was like, this chat session is going to be like so much fun.
That there was a reason that we were meant to connect and for us to have this conversation. And my intention, anytime I'm interviewed on something, anytime I teach a workshop, anytime I facilitate a coaching session with a client, is just to be a contribution and for whoever's in the container to leave changed, which includes me. So I am so grateful to you for showing up for me, and for creating this podcast and this platform for different people to talk about what they're passionate about, what lights them up. And then the ripple effect of all the people that get to listen and how it impacts their lives. You're doing very beautiful work. So I just want to acknowledge you.
Oh, I thank you so much. You're beautiful. I love your personality too. You got like a theatrical way about you. Like, did you do acting in school?
You know, I did, but nobody has actually, I haven't gotten that specific compliments in a real long time. You know, I have been showing up on Facebook Lives. I've been creating videos. I've been doing trainings and workshops for many years now. So I think I'm just very comfortable. And one of the words that you said earlier, I'm very authentic. So I'm just me all the time. This is how I am in real life. And so when I show up in that energy, and I am the embodiment of what I talk about. I really live the stuff that I talk about. I live the alignment. I live the connecting the subconscious and the conscious. I live the trust, and the surrender is a very big part of my work. So I live the self-care, self-love, have grace with yourself. So I think that's what shines through when I'm showing up. And I particularly love video, because you can just really feel a person's energy when you can see them. And like, now I'm looking into your beautiful blue eyes. Like I can feel you. So I'm really glad that this interview is over video.
Yeah, maybe we could do this again whenever, you know, after a while, and maybe pick a different topic or something and go with it. I would love to have you back on again one day.
Yeah, I've been like, I think I want to really focus my coaching more on love and dating and supporting people and meeting magical people and having magical experiences while dating. And so when we were talking on Tuesday, I was like, and it's still alignment. It's still all the things that we talked about today, but specifically for dating. And I really want to support men and women in having fun dating experiences so that it feels fun. So they want to go on dates so that they can get out there and meet that person and experience the kind of love that I get to experience every day with my partner.
I want to tell you, like, the ripple effect that comes out from that, like, kids, you know what I mean? If they would have got into the wrong relationship, you know, they're going to raise up loving kids that know what a loving relationship is. They're going to go out and do good in the world, and, you know what I mean? And thrive, and, you know, and then they're going to have good kids. And it's just like the ripple effect that you're going to cause is just going to be generational.
Yeah. And, you know, I really
it all starts with love. Everything.
I was really at a place where, like, I just thought it wasn't in the cards. I was like, I'm 39, I'm single, I haven't dated anybody, you know, that really interested me in a long time. I just got to a place where it's like, I'm just going to fully embrace that this is my reality and love what is. And so I decided to become a digital nomad and start to travel. And that's how I met my partner. I was actually just in New Jersey, in Princeton, cat sitting for 2 months. And on the third day I was here, I opened myself up to do online dating, because I was like, I'm going to be here for 2 months and I don't know a soul. So
Yeah.
I met him, and it was so in alignment. And it came from a place of like, I'm open, I'm curious, let's have some fun. Let's have a connection, let's have a conversation. And this is what's ended up happening. We got engaged, I think like 4 months after we met. We moved into the house that we bought together 9 months to the day after we met, and we're getting married a year to the day that we met, which was August 8th, which is 8/8 infinity symbols. So there's just lots of like, okay, universe, I get the message,
Yeah, there was a resident in the nursing home, and she had told me she had the most gorgeous husband. Like, he was fine. And she had told me about, because she was bedridden at that point, and so we're asking questions like, we want to know all about this haughty husband that she had. And she's like, I was working at the movie theater. She's like, we met, we fell in love, we were married after a week. She's like, we lived happily ever after for 60 years. She's like, we never argued, we never nothing. She's like, we had
what a cutie.
Yeah, she's like, we had a phenomenal relationship, but that would have been back around the 1920s, and that's how they handled stuff then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people might think that like we're moving pretty fast.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was saying. I'm sure you've heard.
Yeah, it just when it's in alignment. But the thing is, like, I thought my family might say something like that, but as soon as they met him, they had no doubts. They can see. Plus, I'm a grown woman. I'm 40 years old. It's like, what do I need to date someone for many, many years? Like, we know that we're going to be together forever. And if I had allowed that fear and that resistance that came up when we were first meeting to stop me, because it almost did. I almost was like, I shouldn't do this. And there was a couple other things that were like, oh, I don't know about this, but I surrendered and I allowed myself to remain open. And I didn't trust him right away. And I told him that. I'm like, I love all the things that you're saying to me, and I don't want you to stop, but I just want you to know it's going to take some time. Yeah. It's going to take you taking action on the words that you're saying for me to really trust you and believe you. But I'm willing to stick around and see, and so that's how it worked. And he just consistently showed me and showed up, and here we are. So when I work with people, I really want to support them in that place of like coming to that real deep conscious and subconscious realization and belief that they are worthy, that they are the full package, that they have so much to offer. And that if somebody comes into their life that doesn't want that full package, it's just because it's not in alignment. It's got nothing to do with them. Yeah, right. Even nothing to do with the other person. Yeah. And just start to enjoy the dating process again and opening yourself up to the possibilities so that you can meet that person. Yeah. And you're not going to know right away. And so that's why I work with people for at least 6 months, because even if you meet someone in the first month, those first 5 months of dating, having some support and getting to look at all the triggers and all the fears and all the past trauma, because I do a lot of trauma work with my clients too. And getting into a new relationship will bring up all of your traumas. And so just having that consistent support through stuff like that, I'm just like, oh, that lights me up. That's what I'm ready. That's how I'm ready to contribute to people now. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I said, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of everything, I mean, even if you go to like the biblical aspect, it starts with a man and a woman, and then everything manifests. So it's like, that's how it starts. So, and I think there's even a lot of people out there, men and women, that have kind of gotten to the sort of age that I'm at. I don't know. How old are you? I'm 39. Okay, you're close. Yeah. There's something that happens around this age where you're kind of like, it's better for me just not to want it and not have it than to want it. Yeah, it's like, I don't want it anymore. So we kind of give up. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we do want it. I'm not saying that's absolutely everybody, but I know so many people that are like, oh, I'm happy being single. And that was me, because I was like, I'm not going to be that sad, lonely single person. I was like, I'm independent. I'm free. I do what I want. And that was true. But if I really was honest with myself, of course I wanted a partner. I just wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to be easy, and I wanted it to be an enjoyable experience, right? Which doesn't mean it's perfect every single moment. But overall, the overarching experience is getting to feel the way you want to feel in a relationship while you're dating.
Right.
It's really fun to talk about this with you. Thank you.
I know. I love it. I needed it. Yeah, I haven't been into like dating for like a really for a hot minute, but actually it's not even been only a third of the amount of time that you did, because I haven't like been in a relationship for only 3 years. But before that, all my life, I only ever went 3 months alone. So this is a huge leap for me. You know what I mean?
How are you feeling about dating after this conversation?
So I'm feeling like I'm gonna watch this video a couple times.
I'm going to be teaching 2 workshops on love and alignment next month. So, and probably that I'm doing 4 this month. And I think I'm going to start going to 2 a month, but I'm going to be talking on this topic and bringing other people in. And, you know, the workshops are going to be men and women together. And then eventually I'm going to get to the point where I have a small group of women and a small group of men, and coach them in group. And then once a month, they're going to come together and ask each other questions.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really good. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, if anybody is still listening and you have any specific questions, just put them in the comments. I can come back and take a look, and would love to connect with anybody that resonated with this, that wants to know more, that's like feeling like they're ready to and committed to actually creating some results in your life. That's who I work with, is people that are committed. They know like, yes, this is what I want.
Right.
Because I can support anybody in creating anything as long as they're committed. Because when you're committed, then you'll take the actions.
Yeah, you actually see results. Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciated your time and the experience, and getting to talk about a topic that's so close to my heart.
Oh, I love it. And I love you. Have a good night.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Again, if you like this video, please hit subscribe, because we have new guests coming every week. God bless. Love you. Bye.